President, and every single year, I swear, almost every single year, I said, Janis, you must come. Freedom Sings is special. We need you. The song you wrote was anthemic. It was one of the, it's a song about a young white girl inviting a young black boy to her home and the reaction of her parents. Powerful, challenged, censored, and led to challenges for this very young woman. And I just said, every year, you have to be part of this remarkable show. And Janis is nothing if not an impeccable artist with a great sense of timing. And we managed to keep her off the road today. And for the first time, after 15 years of asking, we have the consummate artist. Please welcome Janis in.
I'm so much taller on the TV show, you have no idea. Well, Ken has asked me to tell the story of that song. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was in many respects a very ugly time, filled with beautiful dreamers who actually believed that we could change the world with a couple of songs. And I was fortunate enough, through a confluence of circumstance, to write this song and have it banned for a year and then have it become a major hit. But there were a lot of people who were very angry about it. I could use some more vocal if you had me. And they would send me hate mail, and I got a LP record once with razor blades taped all around it so that if I hadn't opened it carefully I would have shredded my fingers. And I did what you do when you're an adolescent and you are faced with something not understandable. I ignored it. So it was, I found myself on a stage in California, a sold-out show, and I went into my little hit song, and I heard a commotion coming from the audience over here. Well, being a chick singer, of course, I assumed that they were talking about how fabulous I was. So I let it go, and I kept singing, and the commotion got a little bit louder, and a little bit louder, and it got so loud finally that I had to step back from the microphone so I could hear what they were saying. And as I stepped back, a figure detached itself, and he stood up, and he yelled at the top of his voice, "Hey, nigger lover, go home!" I'd never even heard the word out loud. I didn't know what to do, so I did what I thought a professional would do. I went back to the microphone and I started singing again. And as I sang, people around him also stood, and they began to chant, "Nigger lover, beat, beat, beat. Nigger lover, beat, beat, beat." Until I finally began to cry. I didn't want them to see me crying, so I put my guitar down and I walked off the stage with all the dignity I could find at the age of 15. And then I ran to the ladies' room, and that's where the promoter found me a few minutes later with my head over the sink, crying my eyes out. Well, he had no idea what had happened. He'd been in the box office. So he looked at me and said, "What are you doing off stage? The show's not over." And I said, they were calling me a name. And he said, "I don't understand. What are you doing off stage? The show isn't over." And I said, "They were calling me a nigger lover." And he looked at me and he said, "You left a stage because someone called you a name? Well, you've got to go back." It had not crossed my mind. It was the 60s. It was Goodman, Schwerner, and Cheney. There was no way I was going back on that stage, and I told him so. And we argued for a while, and then he said, the one thing that could make me go back. He said, "I cannot believe that the girl who wrote that song is a coward." Now, I'm Jewish, and I was raised to be a Maccabee. And I knew the minute he said that if I didn't go back on that stage, I couldn't go home again. So I went back and picked up the guitar and started to sing. And of course, the minute I started to sing, the chanting began again. But now I was angry. Now I thought, I'm staying. So I kept singing, and as I continued, the most astonishing thing happened. The people in the rows behind these folks reached up, grabbed their shoulders, and forced them down into their seats. And then all the little 15 and 16-year-old volunteer ushers came running down the aisle with flashlights and shone them in these folks' faces. And all of a sudden they weren't quite so loud. And all of a sudden they weren't quite so brave. The theater manager came and walked them out, and I realized as they left that they weren't walking. They slunk out like cowards. So for me, every time I sing this song, I'm reminded of the great lesson I learned that day, that a 3.5-minute song could turn an entire audience into brave souls, make a bunch of 15 and 16-year-old ushers be heroes, and show up a bunch of bullies for the cowards that they were.
Wow.
Come to my door, baby. Your face is clean and shining black as night. My mama went to answer, you know that you look so fine. Now I could understand the tears and the shame. She called you boy instead of your name, when she wouldn't let you inside. When she turned and said, but honey, he's not our kind. She said, I can't see you anymore, baby. I can't see you anymore. You walk me down to school, baby. Everybody's acting deaf and blind, until they turn and say, why don't you just stick to your own kind? My teachers all laugh, their smirking stares, cutting deep down in our affairs. Preachers of equality think they believe it, then why won't they just let us be? They say I can't see you anymore, baby. I can't see you anymore. One of these days I'm gonna stop my listening, I'm gonna raise my head up high. One of these days I'm gonna raise up my distinct wings and fly. But that day will have to wait for a while. Baby, I'm only society's child. When we're older, things may change, but for now, this is the way they must remain. I say I can't see you anymore, baby. I can't see you anymore. No,